Guys, this is my brother Trent. Uh, he likes to cuss, but I'm gonna try to get him to not cuss.
We're going to try. I don't know how that's going to work, but we're going to try.
Okay. What do you think the meaning of life is?
42.
It's LX42.
Yes, 42. Like, you don't have to overthink it. It's just 42.
You need to pull that mic closer to you.
Like, to here?
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
Um.
But honestly, if we're talking, like, the real meaning of life, I mean, if you asked me that question when I was 21, then, it's happiness, right? But what the fuck is happiness? Oh, sorry. Already starting off that way. But, yo, like, 21 is happiness, but that's all a 21-year-old me would ask for. Because at that point, I don't know if I knew happiness. 10 years down the road, meaning of life is just, I guess, whatever the fuck you want to make it.
Okay.
Like,
I think an easier question then would be, what's the saddest time of your life?
2014. And I think you already knew that one.
Yeah. Well,
like 2014.
what happened in 2014?
That's my mom and papa passing.
Yep, our grandparents passed away.
Yeah, because I was 22. Past 20 years. Those are the two that, they raised me.
Yeah, we'll tell the story of how they
All the way
raised
back.
you.
All right, so then, we just started off as, when I was 2, my mom was in a car wreck. And, it messed her up pretty good. Severe spinal and brain damage, everything like that. Circumstances with our father that put me into custody of my grandparents at the age of 2. So I was there for the next 20 years because, well, let's be honest, they were old crotchety, and yeah, they told us, hey, I'm not going nowhere until this happens, and they weren't wrong. But yeah, at 22, like, you lose the two people that, they brought me up, and yeah, that's probably the saddest time of my life.
Those people thought that you were the greatest person on earth.
Oh, absolutely. Sunshine came out of my butthole.
I used to they would always, they'd take us to McDonald's and they'd say there's like a set limit. And that was only for me and Cody. You got unlimited cheeseburgers.
Yeah, a little bit.
You can't tell by your build today.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm famished.
Famished. Dude is povish.
Yeah, impoverished.
He's just very good at surplusing for a different day.
Meals. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, you're just saving that for later.
Oh, 100%. Like, this is for when the zombie apocalypse happens.
Yeah.
And, like, I have to go 6 months without any food. We're good.
Dude, you're going to be living good.
Yeah.
And I'm dead.
You got a little bit going on.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, like, 23-year-old Logan, maybe a month.
Yeah, maybe.
We're going to 30, almost 31-year-old Logan. You got about 4 in you.
Yep.
Yeah, you'd be fine.
So the old people took you in,
Yep.
And loved you as their own, more than their own, maybe. Carol's gonna see this and be mad. Carol is gonna be like,
no, Carol knew. Like, they all kind of knew, but like, the same point, like, I feel like I got a different version of them.
Yeah.
Because, like, they weren't working. I'm not necessarily going to say they weren't as angry because, like, they were always angry.
I think they were just a different type of angry.
They were, it was almost like a bored angry, dude.
They were bored angry.
Yeah.
I felt like Papel would just sit on the couch. So Papel would sit on the couch. The only things that he had to have was Pepsi in his
Pepsi and cigarettes.
And what kind of cup did he have?
Papel? Oh, he had it was like a beer stein.
Yeah.
It was like a German beer stein is the cup Papa had, and it was forever.
Dude, they taught me how to pour Pepsi. So you'd walk into our grandma's house. There was like an archway. There was a horseshoe that hung above it that now hangs at my station at the barbershop. You'd walk in and there would be a dining room, and then immediate left, it was like the entryway to the kitchen. And then there was like 15 2 liters of pop that just sat like right here.
That was the throwback era. So that was before we even hit double digits in the age.
Yeah.
Because after that, it was...
Well, that's when they taught me to pour pop. So Papa would be like, well, okay, you pour it, and then once it starts fizzing, you let it fizz out and then pour it again.
Yep.
And it was like a perfect pour, dude. I was learning bartender skills at 7, and I thought it was so cool. I'd run in there. Papa was like, go get that Pepsi for me, son. And I'd run in there. And he's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because, no, we were child labor. Like, growing up, we were just child labor.
Child labor, definitely.
Yes. Because, like, I'm 5 years old, and, I mean, there's pictures of me, no shirt on, with some weird-ass vacuum cleaner where it, like, rolls around with a box.
Yeah.
And then you have the handle. And, like, I'm vacuuming and smiling because, like, I'm doing the greatest thing.
There wasn't much to do at your house.
There was not.
I don't know if you remember that or not, but, like, doing those kind of chores were fun.
Yeah.
Papal had his own dirt floor garage with...
Are we about to talk about all the engine bays I crawled into because I had small arms?
Yeah, and the 23 lawnmowers and one Mayran.
We had to fix them.
They never got fixed. You just took parts off one to move to the other.
They all eventually got fixed and just sold out. Because, like, we would just... Look, Papa would always find a lawnmower, a car, anything of the nature had a motor. And, like, oh, this don't run. We can make it run.
Dude, the way that he would make stuff run, I was like... And...
Well, do you know why he had the dirt floor garage?
Why?
My mom made... Okay, so you remember the basement, and it had the garage door.
Yeah.
So originally, that was the garage.
Right.
But then, like, one of the fucking lawnmowers caught on fire in the basement.
About burn the house down?
Yeah, and so Grandma was like, you can't work on anything in the house no more.
So he just said, all right, I'll just build a garage.
Yeah, but, like, that garage, like, I don't know how well you remember it, but, like, the garage had, like, all different color siding.
Yeah, it was like makeshift Frankenstein garage.
Because he just got things from people he knew and built it. Like, there was no, hey, we're going to go buy this. No, he just made some calls. It's like, yeah, I got this laying over in the area. That's why, like, half of it, the back side, had roof trusses. Yeah. And then the front side was, like, vaulted ceiling.
Dude, that
wasn't by design.
I thought he was a superhero because he's just cool as hell. Papa raced cars as a younger man. And then as an older guy, I remember you guys had the Impala, and then he bought another Impala to put the motor into the other car.
Oh,
then took it back out and put it back in the other car.
So at one point, we're not even going to start with the Impalas because this is a time, I think, before you even remember. Like, that's not the first time he's done that. Okay, so at one point, and this was like, God, it had to be 97, 98, something like this, and I still remember it. But we had an old Mazda 626, okay?
Okay.
And then,
that's what they drove?
Yeah.
Okay.
They drove a Mazda 626. And I think we were driving to Brenda's one day on the interstate, and the hood latch just breaks free, comes back, smashes the windshield. So what do? Like, Papa just pulls over to the side of the road, goes to the trunk, grabs something, puts it back down, ties it together. We go back to Brenda's. Yeah. Then he starts looking for another Mazda. So he finds another Mazda 626 that's delivered to the house miraculously. I don't know where you find those cars.
How are you getting free shipping back then?
What do you mean free shipping?
How did he get it to the house? He went and got it?
He used to work for Secrets.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, he knew the guys running the wreckers, and he's like, hey, I want to buy this car. Can you go grab the thing?
Yeah.
So, like, now we have another Mazda 626. Like, it's wrecked, but hey, the windshield's good, the hood's good, motor's good. So, replace all that. Now we have a good motor. So, what do? You take it out of the car, you stick it under the bench.
Yeah.
Because I can't count how many engines just sat under the bench for years.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Yes. There's 3.1 Chevys, there's 3.4 Chevys, 3.8 Chevys.
Eventually, your Jeep motor that you got fully rebuilt that you never put in your Jeep.
Oh, no, we ran into whole other problems. So, like, I remember what you're talking about, the red one.
Yeah.
So, I take the motor out of the red Jeep,
Yep.
and we're going down, and bottom end's good. I think top end's kind of fine. Take it, get it honed, get it cleaned, and they're like, hey, the heads are cracked.
Oh, my God.
So then, like, we start looking for, hey, how much is it going to be to get heads or just a motor out of one of these things? And it was more money to buy the heads or a motor than I paid for the Jeep. So I parted out the Jeep.
Yeah.
And it was more money than I paid for the Jeep.
Dude. One of my favorite stories of Papal is he used to sit outside on the porch. That's where you'd always find him. He had like a Dr. Pepper thermostat above his head. And every time, I just remember that like a long walk down, and I'd just see him sitting there, and he'd be like, "What's up, bud?" And I'd just, hey, Papal, walk in, go see Grandma. But he was telling me one day he was sitting out there, and Gilbert Bradley, his son, was working on a car, and he told him, like, he was trying to tell him, like, hey, don't be he had to change a fuel pump, and he was trying to, like, he was trying to drill into the gas tank or something
to drain. Yeah, he was gonna drill into the tank to drain.
And
the
he
gas.
said, you're gonna create a spark, and
he's
like
you're
gonna
gonna
catch up on fire. And
yeah.
Gilbert was like, no, I'm not. You don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, all right.
Yep.
And so he sat, and this is the kind of guy he was, and this, you can't even make this up. He sat down, and he said, all I seen was Gilbert Bradley running across the front yard on fire. And I was like, well, did you go help him? I said, nope. I helped him by telling his dumb ass that he's going to catch on fire. I was like, dude.
They did take him to the hospital. Like
he didn't tell me that. So
yeah, no, they took him to the hospital. Like Bub ended up at UC in the burn unit off of that one. The car was a loss, obviously, because that was right above the garage where all of our just random vehicles sat, and a dog at one point. Because, yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. Above the garage is the cars. Below the garage was a garden.
Yep.
Yeah, because I learned, hey, no, we're going to go plant these seeds, and they're going to make plants, and we're going to eat them.
Yeah.
And that was, but what about the other critters that want to eat it? Oh, we're going to put your dog below the garden. So now he's not going to eat them, and nothing else is coming up.
Dude, I couldn't believe that you guys were tilling a garden. I'd come out there from my grandma's, and I'd be like, these people are, why are they just recirculating dirt? What does that even do or mean?
It breaks it up, man.
Well, now I know this, but at the time I was like, my papaw has basically what looks like a snowblower with no blower. Yep. And just going around tilling a garden. Didn't know what was going on.
And I was a 7 or 8 year old just attached to a death machine in jeans with no other clothes on. I had jeans, no shirt. I hated shoes. Like I had some weird fucking tism thing with shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, so anytime you know this, like if I ran outside, I was barefoot.
Yeah.
I had to hose my feet off to come inside because Grandma would yell at me.
Yep.
Even though we had like 1972 carpet in there.
She man.
Oh God, Grandma?
Those yes. The only way to explain Grandma is, Trent, you need to do this. Or, and I posted a TikTok.
Did you talk to Buckwheat about what Grandma said to him?
Yes, all the time.
I mean, on this.
So, yeah, so our grandma Buckwheat is our cousin, but on my mom's side, not our dad's side. So he would always come out to my grandma's with us, and we would try to aggravate her, and then
Oh yeah, that never went well.
yeah. So what I'd do is I'd bring her a McDonald's milkshake. And that was like her sweet spot.
Oh yeah.
So I'd bring her that.
Even with the diabetes, didn't give it no.
And I would be like, "Here, Grandma," and then I'd start messing with her, and she'd be like, "Logan, you arrogant asshole. You come on." And then she'd be like, "I don't care if I'm 68, I'll still bust your ass." And I was like, "You ain't busting nobody's ass." She'd be like, "Uh-huh, keep showing your ass."
And then she pulled out the ball bat.
She didn't hit me with that ball bat. She would hit me with that freaking fly swatter, dude. And I didn't know what a fly swatter was for because all I ever got was whippings with it. I was like, this is a whipper. Why is this called a fly swatter? Because this is the whipper. But so Buckwheat comes out there, and we're doing the thing. We're kind of just messing around with her, like, "Grandma, you love Buckwheat." And Buckwheat's like, "Grandma, you love me, don't you? Come on.
Grandson.
And I'm your grandson." He kept saying, "I'm your grandson." And she was like, "You ain't my grandson. And if you keep messing with me, I'm going to hit you with this little slugger." And I was like, Buckwheat doesn't understand how serious that she is because she was very vulgar, she was very mean, and she was very serious.
I wouldn't even say she was mean. She was very blunt.
Blunt, yes. Blunt, which is where all of us get it at this point. But
yeah.
Anyways, Buckwheat just kept on agging her, and she just took that Louisville slugger and just knocked him right in the shin, dude. Like, boom. He's like, "All right." Dude, I feel like you have to have some type of story of Grandma.
God, which one do you want, dude? Like, because we got the time where, and there's a couple that just stand out in my head when it comes to like, oh, this is stories, right? So one of them is football.
Okay.
You know, the field house.
Yeah.
Okay. And like Grandma, she would always get there, and she'd always get there like 30 minutes early. And I think this
for
was
a game or for practice?
To pick me up from practice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I feel like this was like maybe sophomore year.
Yeah.
So this is before I could drive or do anything.
Yeah.
Okay. And like we're practicing. There's a storm rolling in, everything. So like it's starting to get dark. It's starting to rain.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden, and I mean this is like a mini heart attack for me at like 15.
Yeah.
Okay. Because like one of the coaches is like, "Hey, your grandma just hit a fucking light pole in the parking lot." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, she just hit the pole." And so, like, I start sprinting up the hill. I'm like, "Oh, God." I was like, "Let's see, make sure the old lady is fine." And, like, I get up there, and literally, do you know when you come into the high school and you got that long stretch?
Yeah.
She hit one of them poles.
Yeah.
Okay, and you ask her about it, and she'd say, "Oh, there was a flash of lightning. That's all it is. It scared me, and I hit the pole." So I get up there, and like she done whacked it, right? And half the side of the car is just a little crumpled. I'm like, okay, so it's doable. She's like, "Oh, it's fine." I was like, "No, you get your ass in the passenger seat. I'm driving home." Because like, yeah, you live out where we live. Like, you start driving at 12.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, you're 12 years old. You want to drive the car? Yeah.
Well, you let me drive, and I was like, dude,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like 13.
So?
Well, I mean, yeah, now I know how to drive. Think of another grandma story, because she's just too gold to not tell stories about. So I'm going to give you one of mine. We were going to see our dad.
Oh, you're talking about the Cody story.
Our dad lived in West Virginia at the time. And so we were taking a trip to go see him, and it was me, Papaw, Trent, Grandma, and Cody, Dakota, my brother. And so we're driving these back roads. Trent was the driver, Grandma was in the passenger seat. So me and
I
Cody
wasn't driving at that time. I was still too young. Papaw was driving.
No.
I was driving?
You were driving, and Papaw was in the back with me and Cody, and
Ugh. How old was I?
he was like chain smoking in the back seat. He's sitting back there, and me and Cody, we can't roll the windows down because it's winter, it's freezing. So we're sitting there like, Papaw, can you lay off the cigarettes? He's like, whatever age he was. He's like, I'm going to smoke a cigarette. So I was like, all right.
Secondhand smoke did not exist.
So Grandma's in the passenger seat, and Trent's just whipping through these mountain back roads, like literally the middle of nowhere. And Cody gets car sick so easily. So he's like, I'm about to puke. Y'all gotta pull this car over. And Grandma's like, ah, shit. Trent, pull it over. So we pull over, and Cody gets out, and he's starting to puke, and he's got his head straight up like this. And my grandma's like, what the hell is wrong with you? Have you never puked before? And smacked him in the back of the head where he like took his head from straight up to straight down, like, and I was like, dude, that lady is so mean, because she would make, dude, and some kids are just never going to understand how the old generation was. Like, you could only get up. So for one, you didn't get a drink until after you ate all your food.
Yep.
And you didn't get up from the table until you ate all that food. Mm-hmm. And she was poor.
Yeah.
So she would literally, dude, she would put like these mush bowls together that we had to eat. And it was like rice. It may have just been rice. And
well, it was all it. So some of the staple points, I would say, like the childhood, and this is before like food stamps really like kicked in.
Yeah.
Because like it was food stamps and other things. Before that all kicked in, like, nah, it was, I mean, some meals were just like the old struggle meals, but they became like staple points even in like my diet.
Yeah, you
like,
still miss them.
Oh, I still eat them.
Yeah, you still
what
eat them.
What are you talking about miss them?
Yeah.
Sir, you used to be able to go to the store and like we would go to Bruce's.
Yeah.
Because like Bruce's, for the longest time and even up until they closed, like Bruce's had a tab.
Yeah, tab.
Yeah. So like we would go all the way from Dry Ridge down to Corinth.
Yep.
Because the old folks could just put it on the tab.
Yeah.
And you'd get like, God, dude, you could get like 3 pounds of pork chops for like $3. Okay. Because they were dirt cheap. Like we were never buying like, oh, I want a center cut pork loin. No. You just got the shoulder of the thing. You go home, you fry it, and we ate pork chops probably 10 days out of the month.
Dude. And I just remember, so with that story, it was a whole freaking plate of rice. She forced Cody to eat every single bite of it. I was like yelling at her. I was like, he can't eat it. He's not hungry. And she was like, you're a kid. You don't tell me what to do. Cody had to eat it. He puked it up all over the floor, and then she forced him to clean it up. I was like, this lady is freaking psychotic. But yeah, they would make those mush meals, and then they would take like, dude, you guys just lived like a straight up movie life. Oh. It would take mush. You take all this food, put it into a food bowl for the dog and a butter bowl, and you'd like take it out to like all these freaking dogs. Trent's got like a pit bull running around on a freaking chain link like this thick.
Are you talking about Cyrus?
Yeah, Cyrus.
I had Cyrus for a while. So that was like later in my teens. Like so we had Blackie. Blackie was the dog that like, I don't know if y'all remember him because he got hit by the mail truck.
I remember him slightly, but then Taz.
Yeah. Taz was the garbage disposal.
Yeah.
Because like Taz, and he lived, man. He lived forever. Like he was just some mutt that like we got from a neighbor.
Right.
Because like we didn't pay for dogs.
Mm-hmm.
No, we knew people that just had random dogs. So it's like, hey, you want a dog? Yeah. We'll take a dog.
Dude. Do you remember, so this is kind of more random than the old people, but you You remember when Dad bought the house in Corinth and
Yeah.
that old barn was out there and it was like full. I think this is what fueled my fire for wanting to be a thrifter.
Oh.
It was full of old crap.
No. You're not talking about the one he bought. You're talking about the rental. There was the old house in front. There was the trailer where like remotes got thrown.
Yeah.
And then there was 2 old barns back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was full of like old relics and like whoever had it, they just left it to die.
It was that house. Because like I remember there was one
Well, the
time,
barns were full of stuff.
Yeah, but the house was one where me, you, and Cody, we went into the house one day and like we went and found like 5 knives.
Yeah.
Right?
There's
And, like,
knives.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with just random sharp things. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But like Dad took all of the knives. There was a butterfly in there.
Yeah.
We was all, I was upset. I was like, I want the sharp thing, but I couldn't get it. Yeah.
Dude, your ability with a butterfly knife at that age was just.
I like sharp things.
It was like a nunchuck. It's like.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Trent, man, you need to chill on the butterfly knives.
Well, let's go back to what I had to do at my house. Because, like, do you want to know one of my favorite hobbies as a child? Papa gave me a hatchet. It's in my truck right now. I can go get it. Okay? Papa give me a hatchet. Because, like, one day I said I was bored. And he said, okay, go cut down a tree. So, I get a flooring hatchet that's dull. And I'm like, okay. I run out in the woods and I cut down a tree. And I was like maybe 8, 9.
Yeah.
This is before Jamie moved out there.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, yeah, that's what I did for fun. I read books, I listened to them argue, and I cut down trees in the woods.
Dude, Papa, so how Papa would always have stuff that he wanted to build crap with. I was out in the woods and there was like this big stake and I was like, oh dude, Papa could build something with this. It was like all thread or something, but like half of it for like fencing or something. And it was stuck out there and I was like, oh, I'm gonna take this, Papa, he's gonna be so happy. So I go out there, grab it, bring it back to him. He's like, boy, what the hell is wrong with you? And I'm like, what? I thought you'd want this. He's like, that's the yard stake that told where the yard ends. And now I got to pay to get it redone because I have no clue where that goes. And I was like, man, the one time I try to do something for this guy and
It's an acre and a tenth.
Yeah.
I heard that my entire life. It's an acre and a tenth.
Yeah.
And there was no, because I remember which one you're talking about. It's behind the big pile of old trees that sat down on the left.
Yeah, but like if you've seen the pile of old tires, you'd went too far.
Yeah, that's Will's property.
Yeah, that's Will's property.
We don't mess with that. You don't go that far. And then up on this other side, it was weird because it was at an angle from the telephone pole down to an orange stake in the woods.
Dude, that whole road's so crazy because people just started building their own homes. Papa had built your guys' house.
Well, you know why he had to build it, right?
Why?
Bub burned it down.
Bub burned the first house down?
Yeah. So originally, they went out to that place and they were one of the first like 4 or 5 people on that ridge.
Yeah.
And it was right around the time of the lake. So they bought the property off of the McGee's, which, God, they paid for it forever. Like, I paid it off when they passed away. But, like, they just had $100 a month. They paid it for the next, like, 30 years. Like, they passed away. I think there was, like, $2,700 left. That's what I paid off. But they were out there. So, at one point, Papa and Mama, they owned pretty much the entire side of that ridge.
Right.
Like, that was all theirs.
Yeah.
Like, sold it off as they went and everything. But they put out a trailer, okay? And then from what I've heard and everything, like, Bub was playing with something that makes fire.
Yeah.
Burn down the trailer. Okay? So then it comes to, if I'm going to be honest, it's quintessential Gilbert Gibson. All right? I'm going to call people I know. Okay? So you get donations from people you know. You get donations from the church.
Yeah.
You say, no, we're not going to do all the extra that the county and state wants. No, I'm going to take this trailer frame, which is made of metal, and I have a title on, and I'm going to build a house on it.
Oh my God.
So I'm literally, the front half of the house is built on a single wide. Okay. And everything else is an addition.
Yeah.
Because like my room
Was an addition?
was an addition.
Okay.
That was done after the fact.
That's where the half foundation was?
The whole front side. So the
Okay.
living room, the Mama and Papa's bedroom,
Yeah.
the bathroom, that was the trailer. That was it. There was
Yeah.
nothing else.
And then like Dad's room and
No, Dad's room, the kitchen, and the dining room is basically what he built.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
was all the addition.
Yeah, but then that big room in the back, in my room where I slept, that was an addition they did in like the 90s.
I wonder how long it took him to build a house. Because the dude's house burned down, and then all
Like
of
a
a sudden
month.
he rebuilt the whole house in 1 month.
They did it in like a month or two. That was it. It did not take very long at all. Because like it was Papaw and some cousins.
So Papaw built the house,
Mm-hmm.
the garage,
That was later.
but still he built these things.
Yes.
That little shed,
Yep.
all by his bare hands.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
And like that's so one thing I'll say about like my upbringing and the way I grew up is it made me very mechanically inclined.
Yeah.
'Cause,
I
like,
would call it redneck MacGyver.
absolutely, because there's not anything you can put in front of my face and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Like
I'm glad that you've learned. You've been on an actual job site now and learned some more technicalities. Because forever you were fixing stuff with duct tape,
hell yeah.
zip
I mean,
ties.
do you not remember the red Honda I had, that Accord?
Yeah, it was. That would wake your neighbors from.
Yeah. Do
4
you know how
houses
I
away.
got that car though?
Hell,
Do you remember that old gray and black S10? I only had it for a
Kinda.
little bit. That's the one where the brake line busted out and I like almost killed a child. Is the easiest way I can say it. Yeah,
No, I
so
don't.
I had it was a 86 S10. It was right after the first car that I had, which is that black Accord.
Yeah,
So I had a black Honda Accord 92. The transmission went out, and we just sold it.
yeah,
I sold it for what we bought it for.
yeah.
Okay. And we went out to, oh man, what was his name? He was right out there off Knoxville Road. It was an old friend of Papaw's. But we go out there because he's got an old S10, and I was like, yeah, that'll work. And like Papaw found it for $500. So it's go out, get it, mess around for probably 2-3 days, get it running right,
Yeah.
because like it hadn't run in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I drove it around for months. And then one time I'm leaving Jen's house when she lived off 330 down there in Corinth.
Yeah.
Right? And as soon as you come top of the hill at 330, you come down into a stop sign.
Yeah.
And this is actually one of the weirdest coincidences I've ever had in my life. I don't know if I fully explained it to you.
No.
We'll go into it. But brakes go out when I'm coming down this hill. I'm probably rolling 60. I mean, I'm 17, 18,
Yeah.
stupid. So come over the hill. There's a Corolla parked down the end at the stop sign. Like you see a car seat in the back, and I'm trying to hit the brakes, and brakes don't exist. So like real quick, I'm like, what's the smart move? Cut it to the right.
Yeah.
All right, there's a bush that sits at these people's house, and I ran it over. All right. I was like, I'm not going to hit the car. There's some type of little thing in the back. I'm not trying to do all that. So, yeah, I hit the bush. I go over. There's a culvert right there off 25.
Yeah.
I run into that. I sideswipe a telephone pole, and I eventually stop in the culvert in front of somebody's house. Do you want to know whose house I stopped in front of?
Who?
I told you Mom was in the car wreck when I was 2, right?
Yeah.
She was the only survivor of 3 people.
Yeah.
And her boyfriend at the time, who passed away in that wreck, was Jeff Dunaway. I stopped at his parents' house.
That's pretty wild.
That's very wild.
You got in a car wreck, basically.
Yes.
Well, you stopped, but
in front of the house of the man that died in the car wreck.
with your mom.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. I look, me and Jen went back one time and I talked to him.
Yeah.
Because, like, that was, at the time, there was a 1968 Chevelle.
Yeah.
And it was his. And his parents held on to it forever.
That's
right?
sick.
Yeah. And at the time, the car was not there at their property. So, like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, these are stories I'd been told by my grandma and Papa and everybody on Mom's side. And, like, when it all come down to it, they moved the car back not even a week after my wreck. I seen the car. I knew the car. Right?
Yeah.
Because, like, this is some lore of my past.
Right.
So, like, I seen it there. And, like, I was riding around with Jen one day. And, like, I told her to stop.
Yeah.
And, like, I explained everything to her. And she's like, well, let's go talk to him. So, literally, I went up and I talked to him. I told him who I was. Everything like that.
They were cool?
They were cool.
Nice.
Like, his mom got a little, like...
emotional?
Oh, yeah. But, like, if you've driven that part of 25, you've seen where I took and just skidded like a skateboard.
Yeah.
Down the blacktop. Like, there's... How I didn't flip or nothing like that, I don't know. Like, when it comes to car wrecks, I've had a few.
Yeah.
I've never had a dent on me. So I'm like, I might have a guardian angel in that respect.
Or you're just a good wrecker.
I don't know, buddy. Like, there's a couple of them where I'm like, I don't know how I just drove away from that one.
All right. For some reason, I really want you to... I just feel like you're a good person for this. I just want to talk about nostalgic things that were at your house or stuff that you remember. Because first, all I can think about when I think about Papaw is us playing Trouble.
Or chess.
I didn't play chess. I played Trouble, which was like the pop it dice game, and you would like...
We got Trouble because I started beating Papaw at chess. That's how that went down, okay?
Dude, I don't know if you could say that because Papel's not here to defend himself, and he would probably say that that's not true. But
no. We got board games after chess because chess was the one Papel had, and he knew because like he used to play with Dad.
Yeah.
But then like I'm 7 or something, and I start beating Papel because like I'm very competitive as a child, and I was one of those little gifted shits.
Well, he couldn't read or write.
Oh, I know.
So,
like, he knew chess.
He knew chess?
He knew chess, and he taught me well. Like, look, Papaw taught me chess, and I did not lose in chess until I got to high school.
Really?
You want to know who I lost to?
Who?
God, what was his name? He was the coach for academic team.
I don't know who that would be.
He's like 6'2", 6'3", always bearded, English teacher, eccentric. Like, he was one of my favorite teachers, and I never got to have him.
He was bald?
Had hair.
Oh.
He was in the basement.
In high school?
Yeah.
I don't know. That won't come to me, I don't think. I don't even remember what the basement it was.
There was a basement up there by the freshman wing.
The new high school?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
They never put you in the basement?
Nah, they kept me out of there.
Oh, you're a sunshine child.
Yeah, they keep me in the window where it's like, oh, they got normal kids here, and they put you hobbits in the...
I get shoved in a cave.
Yeah, they're like, get in the cave.
Dude, I did academic team was something. I will...
What kind of people are on the academic team? Actually, scratch that. Tell me more about these. Tell me more about these nostalgic things, because I all I'm like seeing is mammals, like the clocks. She had like it was always like jumping through different clocks.
No, it was always one clock. So we have it. I still got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it in storage. It was that like mini grandfather clock.
Yeah.
Like ran off batteries though.
Yeah.
But it always hung in the same corner of the house.
Yep, exactly
like,
that.
Yep, that was always one. Like you said, I still got it. So one that like I think about, like, and this is from way back, we had basically a box TV. I don't know if you remember it. It
sat on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was all like ornate looking
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
everything. Yeah, but that thing had rabbit ears,
Yeah.
which sucked because like I always had to go to tweak the rabbit ears.
Dude, and the only thing that ever got to play on the TV was Papple's NASCAR.
Yep.
Grandma's soaps.
Yep.
Which
and the news.
drove me nuts.
It was
the
news. Yep.
And then the game shows like Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy.
Yeah.
And I would love to watch those because I'd be like, anything but the Days of Our Lives.
General Hospital.
Young and Reckless or Restless. I just remember, I don't know which one he was on, but Sonny. He was like a slick back dude. They were just so dramatic.
Oh God.
And I was like, Grandma, how are you watching this? And she's like, these are my soaps, Logan. I like watching these.
So I would say the most, I mean, really one of the biggest things that I would say about like out there all the time, and this was permanent in my brain from like the time I can remember until they passed away, the ashtrays.
The ashtrays always had like the ornate, like big glass heavy ashtray.
Always colored.
Yeah, always colored.
Yep. The only one that was like clear was the one on the love seat because that's where the other people sat. Yes. Like Papaw always had a blue one that sat by his and them damn coffee tables. The coffee tables, you would never put anything inside the drawer.
Yeah.
But if you asked Papaw where anything in that coffee table was, he knew exactly. And
but it was like the most chaotic drawer ever.
It was chaos and just embodied.
Dude, and you would see his couch, and it was like he had like a 3-seater, 2 normal seats, and then his seat was just like always because he would be sitting there like leg underneath him, sitting there.
I can sit that way if you want me to. Hold on. No. We're gonna do this because I can probably do it in your chair. Because this old man sat like this. He sat this way the entire time that I knew.
You look like a floating Buddha that's about to break my chair. And I'm having like sadness about watching you break my chair. So please don't do that. All right. So also this had to be the biggest. So right now people put like child restraints or like doors up for kids to not like pull cabinets open and stuff. At your house, Papple had rigged up just a furnace fan to run
our blower?
To run air conditioning.
Yeah.
But it was a fan. It was just blowing hot air around.
Well,
but it was a wide open pulley system with a wide open fan that just pushed it. And I was like, and you just knew in your mind, like, this is why kids are smarter.
Don't touch
Us
that.
kids were smart because we were like, that you touch that, your finger gone.
Yeah,
maybe arm. Don't know.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, because it sat in the doorway of my room.
Yeah.
So like, the other thing, you can't move it.
Yeah.
So like me, I had to figure out how to like step around it, like safely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no, it sat there and there was always, so originally there was no windows really in the living room to put
air conditioner.
Yeah, because they were nosy.
Yeah.
Like they always wanted to see who pulled up to the house.
Right.
Like we had an AC by Papaw and he's like, it's too cold. So they moved it and they just put it in my room.
Yeah.
Because then, big blower fan can take the air from my room and blow it through the house.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it went. They had one in their bedroom. They had one in the back bedroom if anybody stayed there. But, yeah, it'll make you not dumb.
Yes, exactly. Then you entered the portal, which was your room.
The portal?
Yeah, so you went from an old person house, clickety clock, box TV, 2 old people smoking. Grandma just had a chair. Papple had a whole 3-seat couch, and then there was a love seat right here that no one sat on except for me, actually, with Trent's quilt that his grandma had made him, his great grandma. And then you'd enter Trent's
I
room,
still got that one, by the way.
and you're like, oh, this kid's got issues. He's got a punching bag hanging right in front of his closet.
Oh, that was later. That was later,
but dude,
I had the twin bed and the bed frame that did nothing because I set the box spring on the floor in between the bed.
Dude, you had like infinite Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon cards.
Yep, I had the Yu-Gi-Oh and the Pokemon collection. Had a TV in the corner, which was like a 32-inch tube. Like, it was the heaviest thing I've ever moved in my own room.
Yeah.
Like, that was forever. And then, yeah, I had a dresser, had a nightstand.
I used to always love going in there because Trent would actually have cartoons on.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I learned Courage the Cowardly Dog. What else did we watch? Johnny Bravo, Dexter, then Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon. But then I would have to go to bed because obviously I was a kid. So I would, Grandma would come and check on us to make sure that we're sleeping. And I would be like, I'd hear her come and I'd close my eyes real hard and like over accentuate, like looking like I was sleeping. I'd be like this, and she'd be like, "I can see that you're not sleeping. What the hell do you think you're fooling?" And I would be like, "I am sleeping. What's wrong with you?" And she would get so pissed at me, dude, because I just was not a listening type kid.
No, and the worst part about it is like the old folks, they were nocturnal.
Dude, they would be up way too late.
Nocturnal, yes, because that was the one thing, and like it kind of is the reason I think my sleep schedule is just screwed.
Yeah.
Buddy, they're up till midnight every night. Like, they're watching the 11 o'clock news.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, there's the whole like, okay, go to bed. But then it's like, oh, I want to see what happens with the news. Because like for the longest time, I didn't have a TV.
Yeah.
So, like, I got to watch what they watch. That or I got to read, like, the books. And all the books were, like, high fantasy and Lord of the Rings and crap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, I do remember you inspired me to start reading books because you read all the Harry Potters. And I was like, damn, dude, my brother's smart as hell. So I can't be a dumbass. I got to start reading some books.
Well, like, to be honest, dude, it was more so like there was nothing to do out there.
Dude, it was so mind-numbing out there, but we learned to have fun doing nothing. That's for sure.
You will learn, like, the smallest things. I still remember, I think I was, like, 12 or 13. It was, like, 6th grade.
Yeah.
And this is right before Jamie moved away.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, you remember Jamie lived up the road. So he only lived there, like, 6 years.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, there was one point, and, like, we just got the idea. And so, like, he convinced his mom, and, like, I'd saved up enough, and I convinced Grandma, and we got paintball guns.
Nice.
Okay? So, if you remember back behind the house, there was all sorts of metal and wood just nailed up at some point.
Yeah.
We went through one summer, and we chopped down trees and bushes and everything. Because, like, we were looking at things on YouTube of paintball, and we're like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah.
So we went through with just axes and stuff, chopped down trees, made a little paintball course in the back of the house. And like, that's what we did for probably a summer or two. Like, because you got to find something to do.
You got to find something to do.
Yeah. We drug up old go-karts from in the woods. I mean, there's still probably 2 motorcycles out in the woods that we were not big enough to get out.
Yeah.
Because God forbid 12-year-olds get motorcycles out of the woods and figure out how to make them run.
Yeah.
Because we would have tried. But no, they were too heavy. We learned this.
So, with all that being said, that's our grandparents.
Yes.
I'm sure I'll have a lot more stories to tell about them because they're pretty prominent in my life. We were there a lot.
You just figure it out.
So that was the saddest day of your life, is losing them. Grandma,
100%.
Grandma had what? Lung cancer?
No. So Papaw, that's the thing about it too with the old folks. Like, there's no real like, oh, this is what killed him.
Yeah.
Like Papaw, he had lung cancer back in like I think it was 2009. They only found it because he had a car wreck with Bub.
Yeah.
Because they had like a 2004 Buick LeSabre. It was white,
Mm-hmm.
and they wrecked it right there at Sleepy Hollow Road off of Knoxville. So crashed the car. They take him to the hospital, and they found out, hey, you got a punctured lung. Well, punctured lung equals they did X-rays, and they're like, you got cancer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they cut out half his lung.
Damn.
Yes. But like I said, I mean, blessing in disguise almost.
Yeah.
But no, he lived for years more. Like, that was the one thing about the old man. Like,
He kept kicking.
yeah, dude, they told him he was gonna die in like 1991.
Really?
He had open heart surgery, and it's like, you've got like 4 more years to live, and like, nope. Like, they were just, I don't know if like they were stubborn enough
Yeah.
to just like say fuck death,
Yeah.
but nah,
So then he died, and then Grandma died like 6 months after him.
that wasn't even that. It was 100 days.
Oh my gosh.
It was
less than
100 days. Like, Grandma
3.5 months.
Yes.
Wow.
Like, literally, it was like we had to put Papa in the like nursing home, basically. Right?
Yeah, I remember him being in hospice. Those nurses were like, he is hard to deal with.
Yeah, because they put him in hospice, and they're like, oh, he's got maybe 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
And then, like, he ran longer than hospice could take him.
Yeah.
Like, he just kept living. And so then they moved him to Grant Manor and the nursing home up there. And we got a call one day, and this is actually the day, like I said, goodbye.
Yeah.
Because they said, hey, we don't think he's going to last much longer.
Yeah,
Right?
I actually made it up there for that.
Yeah. So, like, I go up there, talk to him, say his goodbyes and everything, and, like, Grandma says he ain't allowed to go.
Yeah.
He don't go. Like, I'll say one thing. The old man did not go until Grandma said he could go.
Yeah, I remember they said this is the day, and then it was like a couple more days or something like that.
It was, like, a day or two after.
Yeah.
Because, like, Grandma went up, and she's like, I told him he'd go, and that's the day he went. Like, they passed. He passed when she was up there with him.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Grandma kind of did her own thing.
Yeah.
Like, this is a time, like, I'm a little lost. I don't really know what to do. So I took a job, and it was the traveling.
Yeah.
So it was the extradition job I took. And so, like, I talked to her and everything, and I kept in touch with her and all that. And then, like, probably...
Was she there by herself?
No, this is when, like, Austin, all of the kids are there. Like, all Bub's kids were still there. Dad was there. Like, everybody's there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, like, she wasn't alone, but then she had to go into basically hospice.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, the thing about it is we never got answers with Grandma.
Yeah.
So they never said, like, what it was. Like, Grandpa, like, Papa, they said, hey, the dementia's just gotten too bad. There's a resurgence again with the lung cancer. Like, it's come back because the old people were stubborn and smoked until the day they died.
Smoked till the day they died.
Yes. There was some quitting in there, but living with each other, they picked it back up.
So both of them passed away. Explain the feeling where we're used to a decently full house. Those old people always making ruckus and noise, and then it's just you in the house by yourself.
It wasn't that way until a couple months later. Let me go back to Grandma because the thing with Grandma, like I said, she went on her own terms, right? So, like, me and Grandma, like, when she's laying in there in hospice and everything, like, we had a good little heart-to-heart. And, like, I know one of the things that old lady held on to was just kind of making sure that, like, I was going to be fine.
Yeah.
Because, like, in all reality, I was the baby.
Yeah.
Right? So, I even remember this. It was me and Brenda, and we're up there, and we're talking to her. And, like, I'm telling her, I'm like, you go, you do you, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Right? Brenda didn't like it too much. I mean, that's her mom.
Yeah.
That's understandable. Like, but Grandma went in the most fucking mammal way possible. You want to know how she passed?
How?
Did we ever tell you?
I don't think so.
She passed away in a chair watching her fucking soap operas. Like, took a fucking nap, didn't wake up.
At least it was peaceful.
It was. Like, when I got that call, though, I lost my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Like, 100%. The red Jeep was still sitting in the driveway. Like, it's mid-morning. I'm working night shift. I lose my mind. That's when I call Dad. I'm banging my head on that Jeep.
Yeah.
Like, I lost it. Papaw wasn't that bad. I tried to go to work. They sent me home. Like, I told them what was up. But, like, and it's almost like I reacted in the way that was instilled in me by them.
Yeah.
Like, Papaw, you move on. You keep going.
Mm-hmm.
You work. You do what you got to do. Grandma was, in her own way, more of the nurturing.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, she definitely. And it took me a while to see that. But at the end, I was like, oh, like, she holds all this stuff together. She's like the glue for everyone over there. And she was very nurturing just in her own way.
Yeah. It was different. It wasn't like.
It wasn't soft.
No, God, no. Because, like, I remember, I mean, I had behavioral issues.
Yeah.
Like elementary school and middle school and everything like that. And there was one, I was talking to a counselor because they put me in counseling for like, oh God, 2 years of my middle school.
Yeah.
Like I had to go every week because like all I did was fight people. Like I was just angry as anything.
Yeah.
You say something, do something, I'm ready to fight you. I did not care.
Right.
All right. And like one of the things that the counselor said was like, he's like, well, how's your home life? I was like, what do you mean? I live with my grandparents. It's like, do you love them? I was like, yeah. I was like, have you told them? I was like, no. It's like, what do you mean no? I was like, I don't think anybody in my fucking house says that. Because like at the time, we didn't really say it.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it wasn't a normal thing.
I don't really remember them saying that at all ever.
Not until like you were probably high school.
Yeah.
And like honestly, it started because like counselor said, "Well, why don't you go home and tell them you love them?"
Yeah.
Like I started doing that, and like there was a little bit of shift in the old folks at that point. Because like I said before, then it was just you live.
Yeah.
Like there was no. Hey, we got to do... No, you live.
Yeah.
That's all you got to worry about. Like, make sure you stay alive. Make sure the bills are paid. The lights stay on. That was it.
Yep.
Food's on the table. Hey, good job on that report card. That was it.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
So, living like that has made you care about money or...
No. I'm not that one. Money to me, like growing up that way, is just kind of taught me like, hell, I can go back to it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So like, I can go back tomorrow. I don't know where the next paycheck's coming from. I don't know this, that, or the other. So I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like that's why for the longest, man, I'm terrible with money.
Yeah.
But it was just like, let me buy the thing that I like.
Yeah.
Let me be happy with it for a moment. Let me get my vice in, whatever it is.
I have to say that out of anyone I've ever met, that not only are you the most caring and giving person, you're the... And I thought that I was an even keel, kind of just like, you know, don't let things faze me kind of guy, but you take the cake on that, and nothing really spikes your emotions besides your road rage, but you hate people that can't drive. But
honestly, I feel like I just do that because that's a little spurt I get out.
Yeah.
Because like we all got demons, we all got just rage inside us at times.
Yeah.
Like if I can yell at strangers on the interstate, I feel better.
Yeah.
Like, because, I got it out. I'm good now.
But I think that just the things that you've done to help just personally myself in life, let alone everyone that has those experiences with you, would say that, and people loosely say this, but there's no better human on earth than you. So I'm just telling you that.
Appreciate that. I love that, actually. Um, at one point, not that dude.
Yeah.
Like, I've not always been that kind of person. Like, I've always cared too much. I've always tried to do too much, sometimes for the wrong fucking people.
Yeah.
And I mean, the biggest thing with me is, like, over the years, I've learned boundaries.
Yeah.
So, will I do anything for the people that deserve it in my heart? Because I know at the end of the day, like, let's say with you, with Cody, with Jen, with Jason, with all the people that I do hold very dear to myself, like, if we need to, and I tell you, you'll go to war with me.
Yeah.
Right? So those are the people, like, I'll give my all to.
Yeah.
Like, if you tell me you need something, like, all right, let's make it happen.
Right.
That's another thing, though. It is instilled in me from my mom and papa. Because, like, buddy, there's plenty of times, like, I could call papa at 2 a.m. if the car breaks down. Dad'll tell you the same thing.
Well, yeah, that's the one thing I just remember, and I just feel like it goes through all of us is they never would not help.
Right. Like, if
your family.
Yes. And I mean, it family is not just blood. Family is the ones that you hold close.
Yeah, and we learned that where, it was a bunch of random family ties, but that was your family.
Oh yeah, like, you didn't ask. Oh, that's an uncle. Okay,
yeah. That's
like,
your uncle.
Yeah, or like, I mean, the one that really is family. And anytime I go to Walmart in Dry Ridge, like, I'll still see her.
Yeah,
to
Sharon.
this day, I'll see Sharon. Like, I'll sit and I'll talk to her a little bit, and see how she's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just instilled in me, and it didn't really take hold. It didn't take hold to be able to do the things that I can do and to help in the ways that I can.
Yeah.
Until I got into a better place. I learned boundaries.
Yeah.
Because then at that point, I'm like, oh, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah. Dad always says it really well. He called it the firefighter mentality. It's I can't save you until I can save myself.
Mm-hmm.
But people always are like, man, that guy's such a great guy, and it's mostly translates to, they can monetarily give you money and help them out of situations, so that makes you a good guy. But in your case, that's not the case. Like, you help people in other ways that money can't buy.
Yeah.
And I think, ultimately that's what makes you a good person. And people that have the means and do give because they want to and stuff like that. But I just think it's such a loosely used term. But to wrap everything up, so the first question I asked you is, what do you think the meaning of life is? So after saying that, what do you think that it is?
I could give you the joke answer, or we could go a little heart to heart.
Heart to heart.
If we're going heart to heart, then the meaning of life is the connections that you make in it.
Yeah.
Because, like, here's the thing about it: you get to decide who is there with you.
Right.
You get to decide how you treat them. You get to decide how they treat you.
Yeah.
So, like I said, 21-year-old me says happiness. 33-year-old me says peace.
Yep.
So if I got peace in my life and I got people around me that bring me peace or are my peace.
Yeah. I always try to explain the way that I see those relationships. Like, one day we are not going to be remembered. And it may not be the immediate future, but you're not always going to be remembered. We're not in history books. So the things that do matter are the relationships that you make with the people that you can impact now, and the long-lasting things you can give them that aren't your name.
Why does long-lasting matter, though?
Well, long-lasting for their life. Long-lasting for
children, grandchildren.
That's what I mean.
all
Yeah,
that
to
kinda stuff.
something that's is able to be passed
The
on.
legacy.
Well, yeah, a legacy though that has no ties to your name, it's ties to your morals and passing that on to someone.
I could agree with that.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely not a bad one. Oh, I could get into something on that too.
Well, I feel like we've been talking for like an hour and 20 minutes, and
Are you too tired on me now?
I'm not too tired, but I feel like people are gonna be like, man, these guys need to
You can just make it a part
wrap
2.
it up.
2-part. You're welcome. No, because like you talk about legacy and like the impact and like something that honestly like just screams to me with you. And I mean, to be honest, there's parallels in our family already.
Yeah.
You and Calvin.
Yep.
Because like after everything that happened with Calvin, like you and Cody, I mean, y'all stepped up.
Yeah.
And you especially.
Right.
And I mean, honestly, that reminds me a lot of what like Papa Gilbert did.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't have to.
Yeah.
That one, you're doing a better job earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, because I mean, it's like y'all are still doing this. You don't have to.
Yeah. The thing for me when like with that situation is I don't see an option. I don't see anything. Like I see him as my family, and there is just no way I wouldn't give everything that I have to give him the same tools to succeed in life that I got. So
Agreed. And I mean, as it sits, like guidance.
Yeah.
Is the biggest thing I would say there.
Yeah.
Because like buddy, I ain't got any kind of fault in my mind that like you guys are gonna guide him down a good path.
Right.
Like even with his situation, because that's not gonna be an easy situation.
I mean, but you've already met that kid. He's on the right path.
Oh, he's a trip, and I love him.
He is hilarious.
Oh,
dude.
absolutely. If you ever want to know about Calvin, ask him about catnap.
Dude. I got him off catnap, but all right, I'm not going to keep rambling. I'm glad that you got on here and did this. We didn't know what we were going to talk about. I think it turned into something good.
I would agree.
If you have any last words, if you had to say one sentence that would go on your headstone,
that goes on my headstone,
and it's the mic drop, what would it be?
Oh God. Drink beer and give 0 fucks.